Let's talk about Musk's emails. On February 22nd, Elon Musk sent this tweet. Consistent with President Trump's instructions, all federal employees will shortly receive an email requesting to understand what they got done last week. Failure to respond will be taken as resignation. Later that day, an email was sent out saying that federal employees were required to send 5 bullet points detailing what they had done last week. Failure to respond would imply resignation. Their deadline was listed as Monday at midnight. These emails were sent out by the Office of Personnel Management, OPH. Basically, they're the federal government's human resources. Because this tweet and email were sent on a Saturday, a lot of people weren't able to adequately respond until the Monday. OPM were also not told how to respond to these emails. They were just told that an AI is going to be used to analyze all the responses. Musk later explained that an AI tool will be determining whether tasks are mission critical or not, the implication being that this AI tool will be determining who to fire, basically. To contextualize this issue, currently the US employs about 2.3 million federal workers. Obviously, having humans go through all these emails would take an incredibly long time, but AI is not a reasonable replacement for this task. Most AI learns from all over the internet, meaning that they can get information and not actually evaluate whether a source is credible or not. That makes AI fallible as a consistent tool. What this boils down to is you're using a fallible tool to determine whether to fire people, and that just does not seem reasonable at all. It's fairly common for presidents, once they go into office, to do an audit of the government, but doing it in this way where it's super aggressive and you're cutting things without really rationalizing, and also you're cutting people based on not responding to an email, seems pretty ridiculous. I don't think that's something I really have to argue here. Musk noticed on the 24th that there weren't many responses to this email, so he sent this tweet in response. The email request was utterly trivial, as the standard for passing the test was to type some words and press send! Yet so many failed even that inane test, urged on in some cases by their managers. Have you ever witnessed such incompetence and contempt for how your taxes are being spent, ? Random capitalizations because, I don't know, he's being super emotional, I guess. Makes old Twitter look good. I think the fact that he's saying Twitter instead of X for some reason, when he's the one that renamed this stupid company to X, is fucking stupid. Didn't think that was possible, period. Great tweet, dude. Nice job. So a lawsuit has now been filed against OPM. More specifically, a lawsuit that was regarding the probationary employees that Trump had fired about a month ago has been added on to include this. And I'll just show you the excerpt of what they've added, or at least a part of what they added. I did not read all of this. There's a lot of it, and I'm not a lawyer. Trump's appointed FBI director, Kash Patel, has told his workers to not respond to this email, and there have been multiple other departments that have said something similar as well. OPM also walked back the claim that not responding to this email would imply resignation, because that is one of the more alleged illegal issues with what Musk has done this weekend, or that last weekend. By acting this way, Musk is undermining both the executive and legislative branches of government. There's also a clear conflict of what he is doing and how the White House is conducting themselves. Trump initially was supporting this, and then he backed off, realizing that what Musk was doing was allegedly illegal. I would speculate the goal of Musk's actions here are to cause a lot of instability for federal workers and to force them to quit or just to fire them explicitly. Musk has made it pretty clear that he wants to have a more smaller centralized government, and it's something that he'd be able to easily control. And seeing as he has these weird oligarch tendencies, that would make sense to me. In more recent news, OPH has sent a follow-up email basically saying that every week they want to get these emails. The deadline is still Monday at midnight, but they now say compliance is optional. The Defense Department is now mandating its workers to respond to this email, and the Health and Human Services Department have said employees are expected to respond to it. I would say even conceptually this is ridiculous because OPH is not independently managing each one of these departments. I think it's ridiculous that they're the ones that have to collect all this information and then fire people based on that. I think this is all pretty ridiculous. But ultimately, I just feel bad for the individual federal workers that are having to deal with this every week, because this is just absurd. It's absurd.